Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 7 o'clock. We're going to reconvene to open session. Roll call, please.
President Oshinsky,
Present.
Vice President Tate, Board Clerk Sheridan, Trustee Aguilar,
Present.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Present.
Trustee Pearl, Trustee Prola,
Present.
Student Board Member, Trustee Proctor,
Present.
all board members present.
Thank you, Ms. Mayfield. There's nothing to report on closed session. Trustee Tate, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you, Trustee Tate. Mission statement, Trustee Pearl.
Hey. Sorry, I'm getting acclimated. The mission of the San Leandro Unified School District is to educate students to achieve academic excellence in order to become confident, collaborative, and engaged citizens in a community rich in heritage and diverse in culture, where we value our traditions and embrace innovation.
Thank you, Trustee. Equity statement, Trustee Aguilar.
The Board of Trustees believes that the diversity that exists among the district's community of students, staff, parents and guardians, and community members are integral to the district's vision, mission, and goals. Addressing the needs of the most marginalized learners requires recognition of the inherent value of diversity and acknowledgement that educational excellence requires a commitment to equity in the opportunities provided to students and the resulting outcomes.
Thank you, Trustee. Before we get a motion on approval of agenda, there won't be presentation number 1 this evening. Can I get a motion for approval? Moved by Trustee Sheridan, seconded by Trustee Gonzalez. All vote. Motion carries 7+1. Members of the audience who wish to address the board are asked to complete the yellow card available at the entrance and submit it to the board's executive assistant. Speakers who have completed the card will be called when the item is reached on the agenda or for non-agenda items during the public testimony. Cards are to be turned in before the item is reached on the agenda. Please note that the meeting is being recorded. State law prohibits the Board of Education from taking any action on or discussing items that are not on the posted agenda except to A, briefly respond to statements made or questions posed by the public in attendance. B, ask questions for clarification. C, provide a reference to a staff member or other resource for factual information in response to the inquiry. Or D, ask a staff member to report back on the matter at the next meeting and or put it on future agenda. Government Code 54954.2A. We have no public testimony comments this evening, but I do have one that we received online from back in December that I need to read. It is from Starla Dawn. Dear School Board and Superintendent, when COVID shut down the world in 2020, schools in San Leandro decided to put a hold on sending out physical report cards for quarterly grades and instead had families check the student's grade in Aries. While this made sense at the time, I feel that schools should have gone back to sending physical report cards to families once we got back to a more normal state of affairs. This did not happen. Recently, I had asked my students if they had seen the report card in Aries from late October. Now, one of my students was aware that their quarter grades were complete and able to be found there. They indicated their parents were not also aware that they could see the final grades. I have had several conversations with parents recently in which they asked about report card grades, and each one was unaware that report cards had been issued and did not know how their children were doing in school. We are doing a disservice to our community by not clearly communicating how parents can check student grades. The physical report card that had been sent home prior to spring of 2020 facilitated greater awareness and parental environment, and in my opinion, should be brought back as the way we share student progress with students. It is my hope that SLUSD will consider going back to sending physical report cards to families this school year. Thank you. All right. Next is our school report. We have two featured schools this evening, both Garfield and Madison Elementary. One thing I want to ask is that when we do our presentations, as a matter of report, that we do allow us to have, before we do the presentations for the award recipients, if we could have a little time to do board comments. So first up, we got our principal from Garfield Elementary, Principal Koch.
Good evening, everyone. Whew. All right. All right, thank you for taking the time this evening to honor each one of our schools, display the hard work and dedication that our staff and students perform every day at Garfield Elementary. This year, we have to highlight the many major accomplishments that we've already done so far. In an effort to develop the best of our San Leandro Unified School District graduates, Garfield continues to grow our students as critical thinkers and keep them at the forefront of education and technology. This includes expanding our enrichment class offerings, including virtual reality, coding, and engineering. We have reinvigorated our intervention programs with the partnership of our intervention specialists. Our staff has worked hard to create a new system that allows them to target each student's specialized area instead of trying to target all areas at once. Garfield students maintain a healthy mind and body nurtured by our social emotional wellness with the help of our thorough year-long social program and toolbox system that our teachers and students have dedicated quality educational time to. This year, we celebrate 10 reclassified English language learners. Each of these students have shown tremendous growth in multilingualism and are lead examples for all Garfield Gators. Our ethical and cultural leaders are encouraged and celebrated at our monthly award systems that we redesigned this year to better serve our post-pandemic learners we see in front of us today. The Garfield staff has also worked exceptionally well at keeping our school progressing forward. With our staff community committees, each group is tasked with analyzing and furthering one of our current SIPSA goals. Our parent learning series, coffee chats, and school events have been exceptionally attended, continuing the positive community at Garfield. Every day, we are exceptionally lucky to be a Gator. Now, this evening, we are honoring one of our students that embodies exactly what it means to be a Garfield Gator. Gregorio Arteaga is a phenomenal leader on campus. He participates fully and with amazing dedication for all school events, excels in his own personal academics. He is also celebrating being one of our reclassified students for this school year, a huge accomplishment that he has worked incredibly hard for. All Garfield students are able to look up to Gregorio, and he infuses the school with so much light and positivity. He's always the first to help any student in need. Gregorio is always ready with a witty joke and an amazing sense of humor. Congratulations on receiving our superintendent award. Thank you so much.
Trustees, you have questions? Comments? Trustee Tate.
Congratulations and what outstanding recognition. And I appreciate you and thank you for the presentation.
Trustee Sheridan.
Yes, Gregorio, I wanted to say congratulations on a job well done. I'm sure your family and your principal and your teachers are proud of you. Great job.
Thank you, Gregorio. Congratulations on doing an outstanding job. We appreciate you. Also, I have one quick question about the virtual learning. Can you tell me about that?
You mean virtual reality?
Yeah.
So virtual reality is a class that's offered in this upcoming spring semester, starting next week. They're receiving headsets and they will be exploring the world of virtual reality and the world of coding to create a virtual reality system and all parts of that STEAM process. So it will be an exciting opportunity.
That's great. I'd love
Yeah.
to see a presentation on it sometime. That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Just wait till March.
Okay.
Yeah. Right there, there, okay. You got a lot of people behind you. Ready. I went up 1, 2, 3.
Family? Let's stand here. Mom and dad get there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next up, we have Principal Smith from Madison Elementary.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Mike, Cabinet, and family. My name is Paulette Smith, and I'm the proud principal of James Madison Elementary School, and it is my honor to share a little bit with you about our school year 22-23. We're happy to be back in person, and we're so excited to have our children walk through those first doors when they came back in August. We have been on a roller coaster ride because we are trying to do so much to bring the world to our students and to bring love and community to them. And some of the things that we've been able to accomplish so far starts with our Ruby Walks Day, where Board of Trustee Monique Tate was able to come out and walk with our students very proudly to represent Ruby Bridges, who, is an incredible and courageous person when she was a child to her adulthood and still speaking out about social justice and racial equity. And so it was amazing to see our students march with their purple shirts on so proudly with James Madison representing Ruby Bridges. So that was a wonderful community event that our students participated in and learned a lot about. They did teach-ins and they did speeches, and they also marched and chanted, which reminded me of my days when I was younger and I was out marching for the good cause of racial equity. Also, our students are just doing academically really well. If you look at our spring SBAC test, Madison is right up there with Roosevelt. And so we're very proud that our students are retaining the things that they're learning in the classroom because they're learning it at such an in-depth way, that they are getting critical thinking skills and being asked to dive deeper into the content of what they're learning. And it shows in their ability to demonstrate it on assessments like the SBAC. Our students are also reclassifying at a much higher rate than many of our schools, and we're very proud of that. We were able to reclassify 34 students, and we held an amazing dinner for the students and their families, and they were so proud, and they recognized all the efforts of their teachers and the years before of working with their student each grade as they progressed. And so it was really wonderful and a beautiful event. And because of that, we were able to partner with SLED And SLED was able to provide each of our students with a gift card for books. And so it was really memorable, and it made a difference because now all of the schools will be receiving this same partnership with SLED in this particular way to support the reclassification of students. And we know how important it is to honor both the home language and the language that they're learning in school in English. And so that's something that we really cultivate here, and we demonstrate it through some of our community events. And we're going to be having a wonderful Lunar New Year event coming up in January, and you're all welcome to attend. I'll send out information to Michelle. And a Black History Month event. And this will be the first time that we can do these events in person since my first year of being at Madison. So we're very proud of that. We're excited about what we've got coming. We are going to be going into DLI Mandarin in the fall. And so you'll see advertisements and information and meetings around that. We're so excited because our students are at an age where they're primed to learn different languages. And what a way to support that by embedding it in their experience at the elementary level where we're planting all of these seeds, right? And so we want our students to be confident in themselves, to love and respect themselves and each other. And I think, I got a call today from Nutrition Services, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Why is Kalel calling? And he wanted to just ask me to speak about why our school community in the cafeteria is so calm, is so caring, and it runs so smoothly. And so, I mean, to be recognized by people from just looking in, it means a lot to me because they can see the hard work that we're doing and that we really have built a caring school community and a system of people. And saying that, I just want to say we have a deep bench at James Madison. Our teachers and our staff are amazing, and they work together, and they're solid in who they are and what they represent at Madison. And I'm just honored to be the principal of that school. So thank you. This evening, I have the special honor of representing a beautiful young lady. Her name is Joyce Blessing Shemanga, and she's sitting right here. She's gonna come up. You can, I don't mind. You can come. It's okay. I'm going to say some nice things about you. So when we had the opportunity to represent one student at our school for the Superintendent Award, it really, it didn't take much for us to bring her name came up to the top of the list very easily, is what I'm trying to say. And that's because over the 4 years that I've been at Madison, I've seen her grow up from this very eager, playful, laughing girl to a person who is really confident in who she is. She's loved by her family. Her family has been very involved in our school community and with me, and talking with me about their expectations and their hopes for her. And she has demonstrated excellence in her academics. She performed above in her SBAC scores in the spring. She was recently reclassified. She's fluent French and English. And she's an athletic champion. She runs for track, and she's a basketball player, and she takes no, what is that? Like no,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go. She plays hard, and she has really good friends and good relationships with her peers. I recently, right before we ended this school year for the 22, I got the chance to listen to her read her book, basically. I mean, it was a really well thought out storyline to her peers in the classroom with the fireplace in the background, which was on video. And it was just beautiful to watch her and her mind and how she's grown over the years. And so I'm extremely proud of you, my dear.
Thank you.
And I know that you have so much to offer the world, and that you are going to stand up very strong, and you're going to do courageous and beautiful things in your
Thank you.
future. She would like to say some words.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Blessing Chimanga. I've always loved attending school ever since I've started. I've been going to James Madison for 6 years now. The past 6 years spent at James Madison have been a fantastic experience. I've been able to do new things and go places I've never been to. I'm so honored to have this award. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my parents, family, teachers, and principal. Thank you.
Trustees, do we have any questions? Comments? Trustee Tate?
Congratulations, Blessing. I'm so proud of you and I love James Madison and all the other schools as well. So
you.
congratulations.
I just want to make a really quick comment. I know you mentioned about the atmosphere in the cafeteria, and based on my years of experience, that starts with you. It's always been the case when the principal is highly involved in the cafeteria, the culture that's there, the behavior that's there, and how students interact, it begins with you. So I have to thank you for that. Thank you. And congratulations, Blessing.
Thank you.
This, Lever, brother, grandma. Come on down. That's right. Dad, you want to stay on this side?
Yeah.
Oh my God. My phone didn't go for nothing. Yes.
Two and focus. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3.
Thank you.
There you go. Oh. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay. Bravo. Bravo. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys did a great job.
Oh, jeez.
She does.
Yeah. Thank you for all your work. Next, we have bond report. We're waiting. Okay, all right. We're gonna wait just a minute. Okay. Not a problem. It'll just be quick. No worries. So we'll move on to presentation of 21-22 annual audit reports, district audit, measure J1 audit, and measure N audit.
No, I'm sorry, we were gonna do the, I'm gonna step in for Aaron.
Oh, okay.
And just do a quick bond report of what I know. He not as thorough as he would do. But we'll be just quick. So you see, primarily want to show you some pictures of where we are with in terms of progress. All right, so first up, measure N, we just want to give you a quick update. We have some major, as you know, projects underway. So I want to just show you what these are looking like. And you can see foundations going in here. Number one. Number two, we want to just update you in terms of major projects that are underway. We know the three big projects were completed. San Leandro High School quad landscaping, Muir Middle School modulars are fully moved in at this point, and all 7 elementary shade structures are complete. We have plans right now for the Bancroft drop-off and entry design for that happening over the summer. The Bancroft, excuse me, I messed that up already without Aaron. The Bancroft drop-off and entry substantially complete. If you've gone by, there's still some planting and fencing and things going on there, but primarily it is done. The Bancroft courtyard still in plans for work next summer. We know that's going to be a very tight timeline for the amount of construction there. And we're working on whether, like we did with the San Leandro High School courtyard, starting a little bit early, going a little bit late, what's the best way to go around that. Lincoln High School campus, as you know, well underway, looking for a fall of 2023, next year, occupation. The gym, again, project moving along really well. Looking at fall 2024, Muir Middle School shade project. We needed to wait till the portables were gone and demoed, and that's underway now. And then finally, the last big project we're looking at in the short term is the McKinley drop-off project with plans underway for this summer. So those are all of our projects. Here's the picture showing Lincoln, excuse me, the San Leandro High School gym well underway. You can see some of the plumbing going on there. And that was one of the few sunny days that we've had in the last month. So just appreciate the sun while it's out and take advantage of it. Some of the work that was scheduled to take place during the break to avoid students and to avoid staff could not happen because of the rain. So we know that's going to have a bit of an impact. Shouldn't slow down timeline because some of those days are already built into the schedule. Here we are with district office. We're looking at a May 2025 completion date, and that's one that we've talked about, and we showed F&T at a recent F&T meeting. Going in, have to wait till Lincoln campus is done, and just important to say this is not a measure N project. We're using redevelopment funds for this one, but want to just show it to you during this presentation. Here you can get a sense of the rain at Lincoln, but the actual building coming along there. They put out an awful lot of plastic to protect the ground and try to keep the water off so that they can keep working. And a lot of activity still going on there despite the rain. And then finally, just one picture to show you not the most glamorous job there, but plumbing in the mud. But it was still going. And I think that was important to show that the contractors are still working away. They have plans for this. They know how to deal with dirt. They know how to deal with mud, and project is still moving. So with that, if you have any questions, be free to feel to try to answer them, or we can have Director Kerrigan respond in the near future.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yeah, so Bancroft, one weekend I saw them putting the display up, and then it disappeared. And so is there an issue with the display? You know,
That's not one that I know about it must have been that something was wrong with it. I'm going to check with Keziah. Do you happen to know what the issue was with the? Okay.
it was up.
And then it's not up. And that's not what you expect. You expect it to be up and stay
And
up.
it's been gone for like a month. And so
Right.
that's where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
He's he's feeling under the weather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you, Dr. Collins.
All right, thank you.
All right, next, our presentation on 21-22 annual audit reports for measure J1 and measure N.
All right. This one I'll be much more versed in. Here we go. All right, audit presentation. So I want to start with our 21-22 audit report. First up, what we're looking at doing is we have technically three separate audits. We have a district audit, we have a measure J1 audit, both a financial and a performance. There's two separate audits that happen with Prop 55, with the Prop 39 bond measures, and there's also a measure N audit. So all three of those are now available on the website. Where we are for the budget cycle, the very last step, or normally in December, we would bring you the audit report. Our audit firm selected our audit to audit. So internally, they picked the San Leandro audit to verify their own procedures and policies, and that caused an extra delay, but right at the cusp of finishing, and it didn't get done. So still submitted on time for the state and federal purposes, but it wasn't able to make the December cutoff for our board meeting. So we are there at the finish line, January 2023, for the 21-22 audit. So audit overview, we have been using the firm VTD, Vavrinic, Trine, and Day, which then became ID Bailey. Since the 2011-12 school year, those firms merged technically in 2018, essentially taking on the ID Bailey name at that point. Our previous partner who we'd worked with for a number of years was Terry Montgomery. She retired this past year, and Chopin Guillaume stepped in as the lead audit, and we worked with her for also a number of years under VTD banner. And for the third year, the entire audit process was performed remotely due to COVID. Nobody stepped foot on any of our campuses. Actually, some of them now work in other states and other countries for the auditing process. Net position, I want to talk about this, what this is. A major function of an audit is to determine the net position or value of an entity. But for something like a school district or other governmental entities, it's not a particularly useful measure to say what's our value, right? Our value is more about what we do in terms of education. Do we have enough money to pay our bills? It's a whole different way of looking at that. So it's not really outside of the audit process. We don't really pay attention to this, but it is important for the auditors. Our net position in 2021 was negative, and it had to do with bond measures and other debt and certain ways, like valuation of properties doesn't ever increase, even though we know the value of our properties is going up every year. But that net position actually went up a little bit, went from negative 40 million to about negative 30 million. So Yahoo, but it doesn't really matter, just between us. The net pension liability is a part of that I want to talk about. This is something that we've looked at for a number of years. Since the 14-15 school year, this is required to be reported as part of the audit. And it's basically our share of CalSTRS and CalPERS net pension liability. There's a formula for taking a statewide net pension liability and assigning it to districts and other entities. For us, the previous year, it was 127 million. That was a liability, so it's a negative there. This year, it went to 66 million. And I had the auditor go back and double check that. It wasn't anything that we did. But she said, yep, it is correct. And basically a couple things there. One is almost a decade now of those increasing STRS and PERS rates that we've talked about ad nauseum. You know, we're almost at 20% on the STRS side and 25% on the PERS side. Also, a number of years of really good returns for stocks and bonds and other investments. So we'll see the flip side of that in a few seconds here, but basically that's what happened here. I think some of that's delayed, so it's not taking into account more recent trends in the market, but sort of longer term trends. So Yahoo, there's good news for PERS and STRS, and ultimately for PERS and STRS rates that are paid by members, employees, as well as employers. Fair market value is another new concept that we have to deal with this year. And basically all of our money, all of our funds are held with the county treasury. That's by law. So Alameda County holds our money in cash, and they invest some of it. They have certain laws that they have to follow, short-term, the type and the quality of investments that they put their money into. They make interest on that and they pay us a portion of that interest. So we make a little bit of money for keeping our money with the county treasury. In most years, that ending fund balance is based on whatever money we have with the county, right? There's some liabilities that we may still have, or some money that we expect to come in, but essentially the dollars that we have with the county are the dollars that we have with the county. However, because of recent market declines, significant declines, our balance with the Alameda County Treasury is subject to this fair market value, FMV concept reporting as of June 30th, 2022. So what that does, the fair market value is saying, this is how much we would get if we sold those investments today, right? And the county's not going to sell those today. So again, it's one of those, paper things that's going on. They're going to hold them until maturity. They're not going to take a loss on those investments. But for 21-22, what that June 30th fair market value did was it significantly reduced the value of our ending fund balances. Again, paper balance only. So the auditor actually had to reduce our funds by over $900,000 in the general fund and over $1.5 million for our remaining bond dollars. So I've never seen this happen before. I wanted to point it out, sort of interesting. It's in the report, but again, doesn't affect us. Bond audits, like I said, a requirement of our Prop 39 or 55, which is the law that says 55% pass rate. Bond measures is to carry out an annual financial and performance audit. Bond audits for both measures J1 and N were performed at the same time as the district audit. Audit findings. So ID Bailey issued an unmodified opinion for the financial statements, meaning clean opinion, and financials were fairly stated. Yahoo. No audit findings included in the 21-22 audit. Also, Yahoo. Recognition for that. Just want to say 21-22 was a trying, challenging year for everybody. New independent study program requirements, rules, new program that we had to build, a new school that we learned about in July with new rules, numerous changes to quarantine and isolation rules all throughout the year. Attendance rules had been waived essentially since the end of 2019. So without taking that normal attendance, it's a skill that atrophies, right? So we had to get back into taking attendance. Oftentimes with teachers out, principals out, clerical staff out, staffing, substitute shortages throughout the year. Also several new programs with their own new auditing rules. And it's important to say that a district audit touches all parts of the district. It's the business department that houses the audit, but it's not really an audit of the business department. It's a district audit, right? It's everything from textbooks to facilities to construction. There's all sorts of things that they're looking at. Well beyond business. So it's a reflection of everybody here in a positive way. I just want to recognize the district staff, top to bottom, left to right, for their commitment, flexibility, and accuracy in terms of getting this audit and getting it done. So Yahoo, right? Nice. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, team.
So Dr. Collins, I just want to say thank you.
I'm sorry, just here's the punchline. Governing board recommendation: accept the 21-22 district financial audit. Also accept the 21-22 measure J1 and measure N performance audits, performance and financial audits. And that's it. Questions and comments.
Now, trustees.
You're full of surprises, okay? No, Yahoo, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you for the presentation. It's happy to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and everyone did work really hard, and it was a very challenging year. And so I appreciate the Yahoos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yeah, since our audit got audited, I'm even more surprised that there was no findings or anything, because was there usually the student accounts are the ones that cause us trouble. Did they audit any of the student accounts this year?
So that's one of the changes that's come up under the guidelines, where that's always kind of a risk. You have a lot of cash out there, tickets, athletic tickets, dance tickets, all of the things, all of the places that things could go, right or could go wrong with that. There's been a change where those are now considered fiduciary funds, where they're part of the district now, and we have had to include a Fund 8 to account for those. We don't run the activity through Fund 8, but we reflect it at the end of the year. So it's actually part of our unaudited actuals. But with that, since they're fiduciary, they are, I'm blanking on the word, but essentially inconsequential, immaterial. So they don't pay the same level of attention or detail with those funds. So we're sort of internally looking at what we can do to make sure that we are still tracking, it's still, an area of risk for us, for any school district, that we're doing things right with that they're watching, monitoring, doing our due diligence. But the auditor's not coming in and checking ticket counts and looking at projections and looking at cash handling or any of that. So that's something that we are sort of in the process of figuring out. How do we do that? It's been a sort of a quick change on that.
Thank you very much. That explains it.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Collins. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yahoo. All right, next reports, correspondence.
There we go. All right, tonight's communication report for 1/10/23. 12/16 Alameda County Office of Ed. Alameda County outperforms state on dashboard. 12/16 Building Futures. Brighton Holidays for Teens. 12/19 Boys and Girls Club Annual Crab Feed. 12/22 Building Futures. Vanessa says thank you. 1/3 David Houston School Board Member Survey. 1/3 Patty Breslin Native Garden Event Rain or Shine. 1/6 Nelson Elgria All Schools ACPHD/ACOE COVID-19 Update. And on 1/9 Boys Club Girls Club Pizza for a Cause Crab Feed is back. And that's the conclusion of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Sheridan. Next up, Student Board Member Report, Trustee Proctor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all again as we're back in session. In terms of this evening's report, there is not much to report out considering that we just resumed school. However, we are planning to have a school dance. The projected date is January 27th, and we are really excited to have this dance because we kind of want to do a little bit of redemption from our last dance. We had some issues that went on internally, but we're happy to have the community come together, the school-wise community come together, and we are really, really excited. It's an enchanted garden theme, so we want to make use of like natural vegetation and things of that sort. And this will actually be the first dance that will be held both indoors and outdoors since my freshman year at San Leandro High School. So we're really excited to come together as a school and plan for this event.
Wonderful. Thank you, Trustee. Correct me if I'm wrong, for union representative reports, there are no union members present. Correct. All right, good. Next, moving on to board committee reports, communication advocacy.
We did not have a meeting since last board meeting, and our next meeting is February 6th.
Thank you, Trustee. Curriculum and policy. Our next meeting is January 23rd, facilities and technology.
Well, we actually had a meeting December 21st. We met, started with a brief technology update from Larry Simon. We also had a presentation from Aaron Kerrigan on the high school shade structure plans for the quad. There were a couple of items. It was a very short agenda, but we had to tie up some things. A couple of consent items, a couple of change orders, some action items just regarding some of the projects that are going on in the district. And I think we have one or two items in for your consideration tonight. And that is it for my report.
Thank you, Trustee Sheridan. Finance will be meeting on March the 1st. Drug, alcohol, tobacco, education.
There we go. We will be meeting March 8th. Thank you.
Thank you again, Trustee Sheridan. Next, consent agenda. Do we have any polls this evening? Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes, I would like to pull item 4C.
All right. Any others? If not, can I get a motion to move the consent agenda minus 4C?
I'll second it.
Moved by trustee Peralta, seconded by trustee Gonzalez. All in favor? Motion carries 7+1. All right. Item 4C, can I get a motion to move item 4C? Did you want to speak?
No, make
Okay.
the motions first.
All right. Can I get a second? Moved by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Aguilar. Please.
Actually, not, I can't,
Uh,
I did not move it. I can't move it.
Moved by trustee Aguilar, seconded by trustee Tate. Thank you. All right, now all in favor? Or please vote.
Actually, can I speak?
Oh, was there discussion? Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't usually have speaking, so that's weird.
Okay.
So I need to recuse myself because my husband and I are donors to one of these schools on the list and we're trying to promote it. So in the abundance of caution, I am going to recuse myself from this vote.
Understood. All right, now please vote. All right, motion carries 6+1. All right, next we have action discussion items. As a matter of order, just to remind you, trustee Pro, what we normally do is we don't discuss. If you want to discuss something, throw your name into the queue. I'll see it and call on you. And my recommendation is don't be shy. If you want to make a motion, jump right in there because it's fast and furious. Are you ready? Number N1, general services, approval of board committees. Okay, before we vote, I just want to let you know, there's been changes. All seats have been filled. You'll be sent a copy of it by our lovely Miss Mayfield. All right. Can I get a motion? Oh, okay. So trustee Aguilar, you moved it and seconded by trustee Sheridan. All right. All, please vote.
Oh, discussion, please.
Discussion, I'm sorry.
Has there been any changes since we,
All the slots have been.
so vacancies have been filled, but,
Correct.
okay,
Yes.
that is acceptable.
As I mentioned, you will get a copy. Okay. Any other discussion? All right, please vote. Motion carried 7+1. Item 1B, approval of board representatives. Moved by trustee Peralta, seconded by trustee Sheridan. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1. Next, business and operations, audit reports for 2021-22, district audit, measure J1, audit measure N audit.
I'll move 2A.
I'll second it.
Moved by trustee Tate, seconded by trustee Gonzalez. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1. Item 2B, food service staff training. Moved by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Aguilar. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1. Item 2C, proposal for audit services by Christy White for 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25.
Second.
Moved by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Peralta. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1. Next, educational services. 4A, approval of data sharing and services agreement between the Foundation for California Community College on behalf of the California College Guidance Initiative and San Leandro Unified School District.
I'll move 4A.
Moved by trustee Tate, seconded by trustee Aguilar. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1. 5A, facilities and construction, San Leandro High School large and small pool replastering budget.
Second.
Was that you, trustees? Okay, moved by trustee Sheridan, seconded by trustee Peralta. Please vote. Diana, I'm sorry, did you want to?
Excuse me, I pushed the wrong button.
Okay, now please vote. Motion carries 7+1. Cabinet reports. Our superintendent, Dr. Mike.
All right, thank you. Well, welcome back, everybody, to a new school year. We're halfway there, which means those important conversations like graduation start to happen, and it just has really moved quickly, it seemed like this fall. So that's good. That means we're doing good things, moving along, and hope you all got a nice break to decompress a little bit and get ready. I know I did. So it was nice to see everybody at our little function before we left, and to see see the people that could make it. And it's nice to see our administrators, really, I think we got a good group, and they're very collegial and good leaders. And I really enjoyed the evening, sent them off the right way, as they go. Thank you, Keziah Moss, and thank you, Michelle, and everybody else that's involved with getting that organized. It was a beautiful event. So I did not know Fieldworks was there. So San Leandro's on the move. Budget release today. I'm sure I won't steal Dr. Collins's thunder, but it looks good again. Again, these are unprecedented times. It feels kind of dollars flowing our way, and I'll be up in Fairfield Thursday and Friday talking to AXA and some of our lobbyists and kind of get some more details and see what the rest of the soups feel about it. But again, it's not a negative; it's a positive. So, but it's coming, right, Kevin? Absolutely. All right. SBAC, I won't still sit all center, but she will do a presentation in February. So those have been released, and we'll do a full dive into that for you in February. So in case you have that on your mind. And the last thing is a big kudos to our maintenance staff throughout the district through this weather. I mean, it's they were working around the clock, making sure they had sandbags or anything else needed fixed, leaks, things like that. And again, always proud that my phone's not ringing off the hook and, saying, this is going wrong or this is going wrong. I mean, because we haven't had this kind of weather in a long time. So it's good to know that the new facilities we're putting up are holding up strong. And, that means our maintenance department, and when we do our bond projects, they're doing good work as we move along. So a good job to everybody. And that's it for me. I mean, not much. Just had a nice break and ready to get rolling. So pass it on.
All right, next we have, thank you, Dr. Mike, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Dr. Patel.
Thank you. Good evening. This semester, we get to launch our first high school A through G credit recovery program. We have our A through G grant monies that came into us, and our big pie in the sky was that we would be able to, in real time, turn it around and start sections where students could be recovering grades during the school year, not waiting for summer or using outside organizations. And here we are. We have 3 new sections: algebra, geometry, and English, that will offer grade and credit recovery. So maybe you didn't pass, or maybe you weren't satisfied with your grade. So students can take the course they need while also receiving academic tutoring and support in their current second semester class that will provide, get them to shore up the whole year. So we're looking forward to seeing how that goes, evaluating it, and then hopefully spreading that to other content areas as needed. Secondly, just wanted to remind everybody in the community that our California Healthy Kids Survey is open, and that means it's open for students. Kids in 5th grade need a permission slip. It's open for parents. There's one for staff, and all of that data gets pulled together and analyzed so that we can use that to better do a needs assessment alongside all the achievement data that we'll talk about when we do the presentation on the California School Dashboard in February, alongside the data that we also get from just inviting our community in and hearing what's going well and what's not for them, and the student leadership and student sort of affinity spaces that we will go into as a central office team at the various school sites. We collate all that together to make our priorities, not only for the LCAP, but just for any other funding. There's always surprise funding, right, Dr. Collins, that lands, and it's good to have that wish list of things that people prioritize and to know upon which data we're planning those items. We will also be visiting the DLAC, right, to get their input on English learners, and then look for the DLACs to be working with the site-based ELACs on doing their own surveying of community needs. On the note of English learners, our LPAC, the English Language Proficiency Exam administration, will start February 1st. We will go all the way to May 30th. So back in the day, English language testing was seasonal. It happened in the very beginning of the year for a few months. And now, as you can see, there's a fall window. And now this is the next window, February 1 to May 30th. And so it's sort of an all-year event. We are working with some parents who are leaders in their site-based ELACs who have successfully had students reclassify, just like young scholar from Madison Blessing here. And we're gathering their stories to make a video in Spanish so that they can teach other parents on just sort of what to do around reclassification. And one of the biggest important steps is taking that LPAC test date very seriously. And so we're excited to start that window. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Next, we have Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, Dr. Zenabitine.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. McLaughlin. Happy New Year to all of you. The Administrative Services Division team has been prioritizing interviewing potential candidates in partnership with some of our new vendors that are supporting us with staffing our para educator vacancies that are still kind of sprinkled throughout the district. We also rang in the new year by opening up the online enrollment window for the 2023-2024 school year. So I know that seems early, but we're already thinking for next year. And so far we've had, we opened it up on January 1st. We have 155 families who've already started their applications. And it's also typical to see some movement out of our district and into our district for this current school year, right after following the winter break. And so we had maybe about 20 additional students who added into, so they are sitting in some of our classes now in some of our schools. We're also planning to have a couple of enrollment fair in-person meetings. So anyone that wants to have some in-person help with enrollment, that is open to them. The first one will be in February, and then the other one will probably be sometime later in the spring. And again, it may seem early, but for us, we are really in our we're entering our pre-hiring season for the 2023-24 school year. So we're going to be participating in some upcoming job fairs, with one of them, one of the first ones being at the National Association for Bilingual Educators, along with all other organizations and universities. And we will be also hosting our own here as well to try and get the best candidates for any openings that we will have. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zenabitine. Next, we have Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operation. Once again, Dr. Collins.
And I'll be brief again. Good evening. I did check in with Director Kerrigan on the marquee at Bancroft. And he said it was the box for it was being put up for fitting to make sure that it fit in the right spot. And the intention was then to remove it, put in the electronic contents for it before it gets returned. However, the rain has delayed the project as is happening with a lot of stuff right now. Just briefly, we've mentioned already that the governor released his 23-24 budget proposal today. It's important to note this is just a proposal. It's a starting point. We know that what ends up happening between now and the May revise and between the May revise and actual budget adoption can change. And actually this year, even after budget adoption, we still saw changes going on. Technically, what we're seeing right now, they're calculating fully funding the COLA, the cost of living adjustment for 23-24, which is extremely impressive considering some of the economic headwinds and projections that we've been hearing about with the economy and a lot of concerns about the stock market and declines in tax revenues and whatnot. But he's committed to that. 8.13% is the current calculation for COLA, and that will change a little bit, but that's generally going to be pretty close to that. There's I think 2 additional data points that aren't known until the springtime, but we're definitely going to be in that ballpark with the 8.13%. Technically at 8.13%, I believe that is the highest COLA in the last 2 decades. Since the 2001 budget year, just before we know what happened then with September 11th in the stock market, the tech bubble. This year's COLA, full COLA was higher, but remember half of that was a COLA augmentation, which was an interesting one we'd never seen before. So highest COLA in 2 decades, and that's certainly something to look forward to. The governor was a bit conservative and careful with his presentation today. He's not touching the reserve accounts at all. Then a couple different rainy day funds that that him and his predecessor have set up and used. That may change at the May revise, depending on how things continue to develop between now and then. He also manages to achieve the 8.13% COLA full funding through some other just creative financing, some moving things around, some other cuts and postponements and whatnot. But at the end of the day, any point giving up some one-time money for ongoing money is a good thing to do. So be happy with that. So looking forward to continuing to see what next year's budget brings. It looks like it's going to be pretty basic, but again, at the highest COLA in 2 decades, it's nothing but positive right now. So I'm extremely happy with it.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Collins. Next, we have our Assistant Superintendent of Information Services, Mr. Larry Simon.
Thank you. Just really briefly, I'd like to talk about our in-class display fleets. Probably you know them as the Prometheans. They're just a little over 5 years old, and it's a little early to be talking about replacements, but they are starting to feel a little long in the tooth and starting to show their age. So we're starting to think about what the next iteration of that will look like, and ideally looking at things that can leverage that existing investment, maybe just replace the smarts of those panels, and not just to save money, but also to live up to that strategic plan goal of reducing the district impact on climate change by not creating a bunch of additional e-waste. So last meeting, you all approved a purchase of a small amount of those, and we're looking to pilot that throughout this year and hopefully come back to you sometime in the summer with a larger plan of what that'll look like going forward to not only leverage our existing investment, but to get something really forward thinking for the district. So that's sort of a project we're working on right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Next, board representative reports, Alameda County School Boards Association.
So the last conversation we had, our meeting would be likely in mid-February, but I started an email draft to the executive board to let them know that Trustee Pearl would be the representative and you would be the alternate.
Perfect. Thank you. Next, Eden ROP.
Yes, so next meeting for ROP is February 2nd. And actually earlier today, I sent the same thing, similar as Monique, an email to our superintendent and board, letting them know that Evelyn will be taking over as our representative over at ROP.
Thank you, Trustee Aguilar. Next, Mid Alameda County SELPA.
So we haven't set a meeting yet, but there will be one shortly, and I will continue to represent that while I'm here.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And lastly, City Disaster Preparedness Council. There we go.
We have not had a meeting yet, but there was an email conversation. We had requested that possibly members of the City Disaster Preparedness Program receive updates regarding the storms and weather conditions happening throughout the city. The agreement was to continue sending it to the district contacts, and I thank Dr. McLaughlin for forwarding that out to the board. So we're aware of some of the issues going out there. We still have some things to hammer out, but I think it would be prudent for the members of that committee to receive those updates as well.
You know, Leo, I think they were confused. They thought they wanted for the individual school board context and not the emergency board. So I'm going to clarify with Fran.
Thank you.
Okay, because I think she thought it was us.
Correct.
Oh, correct. So
Yes,
I will clarify that with her.
Yes,
No
thank
worries,
you.
I got it.
Well, we did have communications, so that's great.
That's movement. Thank you, Trustee Sheridan. Next, any consensus items? Trustee Aguilar.
Yeah, so it came to mind earlier, and actually it's more of a question to Mike on progress because it's a conversation I think was lost. So a while back, I requested that we look into what it would take to get a voting thing for the student board members slot. And I don't remember what happened in that conversation, but I'd love us to bring it back and maybe chat with City about it.
We have.
Okay.
And so as you can see, Mr. Sheridan's still carrying a temporary microphone. So I will meet with the new mayor and see what the progress is, because we did ask and it was an uphill battle to get. So this whole place needs to be updated, you know, and so I will bring it up to him again. And I will get yours fixed, Mr. Sheridan. We'll see what's going on there. This is great. I'm afraid you're gonna break into song.
All right, trustee Gonzalez.
Yeah, so the awards. It always feels awkward for them to give the praise for the student and then we ask the questions. And it's hard for them to stop because they want to go straight to the doing the students. So can we ask the questions after we go down and take the picture so that, it doesn't break up the student celebration? So.
We
are
did in the
people okay?
beginning. We can do that.
Yeah, I just think that I feel awkward asking questions when it's like the child has just been.
I know the hard issue is then everybody gathers, as you can see.
Yeah.
And so it becomes more of that's why we switched it the other way, is get it done, then let them go and take pictures and talk and whatever. So bringing them all back together so you can ask questions may be a difficult, because I will talk about it, see if we can figure a way to do all those questions before
Yeah.
we get to that point. Because as you can see tonight, they kind of all
Yeah.
gather afterwards and it'd be hard to get some
The
questions. in.
principal wants to go with them.
Exactly. So let me brainstorm and figure it out. So I noticed it too. So.
Anyone else? All right, next meeting, special board meeting is celebrating schools is Tuesday, January 31st. Oh, I'm sorry. Additional suggestions and comments from board members. Trustee Parola. Thank you, trustee Parola. Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you for Fieldworks. That was a fabulous celebration and a fabulous location. It worked out really, really well. So thank you for all your hard work and I hope everyone had a good break. My break was very weird and interesting and I probably will hang out here in the city hall more often now. So anyways, thank you.
Trustee Pearl.
Yes, well, thank you everyone for allowing me to swear in again today in person. I know this is my first official in-person meeting, so appreciate that and just appreciate everyone's warm welcomes. I know I wasn't able to respond to everyone's lovely comments last meeting because I was on the mic, but appreciate everyone onboarding me and our superintendent meeting with me and inviting me to have meetings with our cabinet leadership who I've had an opportunity to get to start to know, but looking forward to diving deep into our strategy, our data, and excited to hear that we're collecting more data. I encourage our community to get involved with the California Healthy Kids Survey. It's a phenomenal resource for our school district to look at and examine, to think about ways to support the community better. So just encourage everyone to participate in that. And I look forward to all of my new roles on the committees and as a rep. So thank you all. And thank you again to our community for allowing me the privilege.
Thank you, trustee Aguilar.
Nothing but a thank you and happy new year. Also a note, thank you for allowing teachers to do finals before break. I'm feeling the sting of doing finals this week. Just saying. So anyways, thank you and happy new year.
Thank you, trustee Sheridan.
There we go. I'd just like to say we do a lot of things right here over at SLUSD. I'm just saying. And, I'm just looking forward to the beginning of a new calendar year, but it's also, we're on the other side of the academic year. Well, soon we're going to be talking graduation, planning for all of that good stuff. And I look forward to all of it. Thank you, everybody.
Trustee Tate.
So happy new year to everyone. I had a restful holiday season. Well, it was a busy end of the year for me. So as you all know, and so I just wanted to announce, I did go to the Ruby Bridges March at Madison. That was fabulous. The young people were amazing, like from the youngest to the oldest, like they were representing their cause. And I was like, wow, that's very impressive. So, but I do want to announce that I've announced it to the board and to the cabinet. My family and I, we will be relocating to San Antonio, Texas soon. I don't have a date yet, but we bought a house there and our house closes this month, but we likely won't move until the end of February or beginning of March. I'm just not sure yet, but I've enjoyed my time being a part of the board. And as I stated in the closed session, you guys are like family to me. You've helped me grow and in my community work and advocacy. And these years that I've been on the board, you know, I always remember and cherish the moments and the relationships built in the community. So thank you.
I would just like to also wish everyone a happy new cycle around the sun. I would like to congratulate you on your movement to Texas. I have family in Texas, and it's an interesting state to say the least. But and I hope that you, Mr. Sheridan, get your a microphone in unison with everyone else. Although I do enjoy your unanimous taps before you speak. It is kind of like icing on a cake.
Thank you. I just want to echo Trustee Gonzalez's statement about fieldworks. That was really fun. I think what's fun for me is the fact that it's not an official event. You know, it's just face to face with people and getting to talk. And it's really nice to have those conversations with them because, you know, that we're just treating each other as equals. And I really, really enjoy that. I think we should have more things like that. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Also, I want to welcome Trustee Pearl to the board. It was lovely meeting your family this evening. By the looks of things, there may be another board member in your family. He certainly took to this seat pretty quickly. So it's great. It's great. Nice meeting you in person. And I'm definitely looking forward to next week's MLK event. It's always an outstanding event. The students do a tremendous job and I'm always very, very proud. So I'm really looking forward to that. With that being said, can I get a motion for adjournment? Moved by Trustee Aguilar, seconded by Trustee Gonzalez. Please vote. Motion carries 7+1 at 8:11. Did President Aguilar ever do that?